Hello? Hi. Please find your seats. Hello, everyone, and welcome. So glad to see that so many people have found their way to Sluppen and Lager 11 for this launch event by Bright Batteries and R. Kjelsberg. My name is Madeleine Mittet. I work at Kjelsberg, and I am proud to present the stars of this event, the people that are making this possible. First, I hope that people have gotten some coffee in the cups. Those who has not will get a refill in about an hour. And some good pastry from a local bakery, literally across the street. First up, we have CEO and founder of Bright Batteries, Brian, and CEO of R. Kjelsberg, Ole Petter Bjørseth. Welcome.
Yeah, today's a big day.
Absolutely.
This is, I think, really cool to see so many people, and for everybody that's tuning in online, thanks for coming in. We have a really cool thing going on between Bright and Kjelsberg, and I think it's fantastic that we can share this this great partnership with everybody else here. So it's really good. I guess, two things that are kind of really exciting for me right now. Of course, today, and also I have a newborn son that came on Saturday. But I think it's actually really neat. I want to say it because Arlene, when he's as old as I am, in 33 and a half years, I expect that the world's going to be much different. It's going to be a fantastic thing to see as we grow our company and have more flow batteries out. I think Arlene, he's going to see things like buses and all of the places, the workplaces, and where he lives. There'll be batteries, stationary batteries in place, and Bright, I think, is going to play a central role in this, in making sure that we have stationary energy storage, and that's going to enable clean energy, actually. There's one thing that Kjelsberg is doing here at Lager 11. They're putting in solar panels on the roof, and this is a great symbol for what I believe the future of the energy system is going to be like, because you have the symbiosis between locally produced energy and batteries that have a long lifetime. So flow batteries, they have a long lifetime that enable large-scale storage to store locally produced energy So it's been really cool actually to build this company. This all started 4 years ago with a prototype I made out of juice bottles and straws. Says a little bit about how simple our innovation is. I must say, though, the battery in our basement here is actually a research-grade battery. It's something that we've purchased. But regardless, we're coming into a phase with our company where we're commercializing flow batteries. And so I'm pleased to announce that we're offering large-scale storage to Nordic countries and through our partners. We're working continually to make sure that this is going to be a reality for the future. So with this battery in the basement, we actually have purchased the battery, like I said, and we're going to be using this to explore and test and innovate new business models. And one of them is something called the flexibility market. And flexibility market, it's quite simple. If you have, say, a factory that has solar panels on their roof or not, they can actually agree with the power suppliers to turn off energy for a little bit, and they'll get paid for it. So what we want to do is figure out, okay, how can a battery be used in this situation? Because if the production facility wants to turn off or disconnect from the power grid, well, maybe they can actually take energy from a large-scale battery. This way they can keep their production going, get paid from the energy company to not use their energy. And this is one way that we can support the transition to clean energy in the future. And this actually enables or makes it so we don't have to build out so much the power lines and all this. So it's preserving nature as well. And this is one thing that I think is very important for me, to see that everything that we do is reducing the impact that we have on the climate and environment. With our flow batteries, they have a long lifetime. They last 20 plus years. They're reusable in many ways, and that's very good for circular economy type thoughts and etc. And I believe that Skjaldsberg is interested in this type of technology because of the environmental profile. If you think of the building that they've just put up behind us, it's Norway's first double certified environment building, which is a feat of itself. So I praise Skjaldsberg in many ways for their engagement in ensuring that companies such as Bright can come in and actually make an impact when we have a technology we believe in, and there's a willingness from Skjaldsberg and other customers that we've had to go in and try and go for the accepting the challenge of having the risk involved with new technologies such as flow batteries. But flow batteries actually are not that new. They've been around for many years, which is why we are able to offer such a great product. And yeah, talk to the team afterwards, because what we're working with is quite simple. We are a company that uncovers and solves your energy storage needs. And we have a simple process where we go from doing an energy analysis of your situation. This involves also a life cycle analysis. So when you are sitting with a report from us, you know exactly how much of an environmental impact your battery can have. We'll also guide you through the installation process. We've learned a lot from this installation now. Reem's going to tell you about this afterwards, but we'll help you through this process, and then afterwards we'll make sure that your battery is working exactly how it is, so you don't have to worry about it. And this is something that's going to help with peak shaving and flexibility markets, like I mentioned. So in the future, I want to see Bright flow batteries in all of our neighborhoods, towns, and cities, because I really believe that we have a technology and a team that can make the transition to clean energy much faster, and in a way that we're using less resources. So thank you so much again for being here, and yeah, maybe you can say a little bit more about your experience with us, and yeah.
Thanks a lot, Brian, and congratulations with your newborn son, Erling. At Skjaldsberg, we were established back in 1856, been there for many years, and one of the reasons for that is that we have been open for new thoughts and new ideas, and being able to collaborate with partners. So that's very important. And when we are collaborating with Bright Batteries, a member of Factory, our hardware community here at Sluppen, we take some risks, but in enabling the new future and progress, you have to take some risks and be open for new ideas and new thoughts. So that's one of our core values. Be open for new ideas and new thoughts. Another of our core values is to care about the future, to care about the society we're living, and to care about a greener and brighter future for ourselves and our children. So that's very important for us. We pride ourselves to being in forefront when it comes to creating a better and greener future and using new technology. But we don't invent new technology, but we have to be open for new thoughts coming from partners and be open for collaboration with partners. So that's very important for us. We have been collaborating with NTNU and Trondheim Kommune in the City Change project here at Sluppen in creating a positive energy block. And it's very important to use battery technology from bright batteries and also installing solar panels on the roof, producing approximately 150,000 kilowatts. So we're going to use in this building. So that's also very important. We also have solar panels on other buildings in this area. So production of energy and storage in bright batteries, flow batteries, is very important for us. So our ambition is to transform Sluppen, this area, from a junction to a junction for new ideas. So that's very important. That's why we have established the hardware incubator factory to being able to get some new ideas and new thoughts to Sluppen and being able to use some of those new thoughts and ideas in transforming this area to a technology hub and a hub for greener technology. So I'd like to have a lasting collaboration with bright batteries. So we start with an installation in this building, and we also have place for flow batteries from Bright in other buildings. So we hope this collaboration will mean that we will have several batteries from Bright batteries in other buildings that we are building in the future, and also in buildings that we already have built at Sluppen. So looking forward to a great collaboration with a great partner in Bright Batteries, and wish you all luck and congratulations with installation here in this building. And you will be able to have a look at that installation later this day.
Yeah, that's right. We can take tours down to the basement after 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. They say behind every great battery stands two great women. Please welcome from Bright Batteries, Rim Haile Kidane, and from Kjelsberg Eiendomsforvaltning, Kristine Fagerheim. Welcome.
Thank you for that introduction. Power ladies are here with our power suits. So we have been behind this whole project period of installing the first battery here in Kjelsberg, or to be more specific, here in Lagerelve, downstairs at the basement. Yeah. So my name is Reem, as she mentioned. I work at Bright Batteries as the lead project engineer, and I also had a bachelor degree in renewable energy. Some of my former students are here as well, probably. And I am also an electrician, so I have a degree in that as well.
My name is Kristine. I work as an advisor in energy and environment in Kjelsberg Eiendomsforvaltning. And my background is a master from NTNU in chemical engineering. So I have quite different backgrounds, but it only makes it better.
Exactly. Do we have the clicker? think it's this button. This button. Okay, yeah.
So, before installing the battery, Bright had some requirements. Kjelsberg is both the owner of this building and also the manager of the building. So we had to do some adjustments. The ground where the battery was going to be placed had to be straightened out. We had to do some small adjustment to have enough space for the battery room. Bright had to have access to the building, of course, to be able to work when we were not here. They had to have access to Wi-Fi and to power, of course. They also needed separate ventilation from the battery room and out of the building.
All of these requirements are based on a lot of reading of both NEC, which is the Norwegian standard for electrical and any kind of dimensioning of cables and fuses and safety requirements, of course. And of course, we had to use, since flow batteries are not used here in Norway, we had to use some international or European standards, which are the safety requirements for flow battery, the one next to here. And those requirements suggested that, of course, most of them are, of course, a suggestion, not a demand. But we in Bright take safety quite serious. So every single rule that was in that book should be implemented in this building by now. I'm very paranoid, and Glenn knows that. And so, yeah, so we read everything, and we came to a conclusion that you needed a separate ventilation from the battery to the outer of this building to avoid hydrogen production, which can happen, of course, when the battery is either misused or something severely goes wrong. So hopefully our measures with sensors and reimbursement of extra tubs and stuff like that has secured the battery enough to avoid all these issues, and it must be one hell of a storm to get hydrogen production in this battery.
Our first obstacle in this cooperation was, where do we place this battery? So we started up with Lysgården, which is a relatively new building from 2019, which we thought was a good choice. It was already established a battery room on the roof. There's solar cells on the roof. So this was the best choice, we thought. Until Bright told us the weight of the battery, which is 2.7 tons. And me and Reem didn't want to carry it up the stairs, so we had to find somewhere else to place it. So then we thought about a storage room next to Grip, which is also in this building. But that was not enough space. And luckily, we have Morten Forbord. Are you here? There you are. He knows every building in and out, so he suggested the basement at Lager 11, which is down here. There you have a gate, which made it easy to transport the battery and the materials for the battery room. And it was possible to connect directly to a ventilation from the battery room and out of the building. So this was our choice at the end, and you will be able to see the basement and, of course, the battery afterwards.
Yeah. So then when we found the place where to place the battery and started the building process, everything came out quite easily, and we just put everything in place. So if you can see this picture to the right, there's the battery itself. It's basically a module. It's easy to place in. We could have left it there alone without any extra housing, but since we wanted to make sure that nobody will press anything on the battery where we're not there, and safety, and to kind of restrict access to the battery, an extra casing came around the room. Just to make it as easy and simple as possible, we used a lot of basic materials that you can find in any hardware store, and of course bought a port to kind of seal the whole box together. In the middle, you can see my colleague Olav. We actually, when we placed the battery, wasn't that smart because we placed it and then they placed it a little bit off. So we ended up pouring 2 liters of oil to push the battery for just 5 centimeters. So we suggest that nobody moves the battery after installments. So yeah. On top of every battery, there is an energy management system that we Bright designed to integrate it up towards the building. So with our tech, we would be able to read the user consumption numbers and then suggest the right amount of energy the battery should charge or discharge. Of course, within the same tech, we also monitor security, as well as if there are any sensors that kind of give us the wrong signal, or if you lose internet and stuff like that, then everything will go through the energy management system, and then we would get an email or a phone call or a message that alerts us about this. So it makes it kind of safe and predictable at times.
And of course, there's benefits for both of us, or we wouldn't be in this project. For Kjelsberg, it's important to facilitate for innovative solutions, such as this battery. And to be able to do it in our own building as well makes it even more exciting. As Ole Petter mentioned, and Bjørn Ove will tell more about this later, we want to establish also an energy central here in Sluppen, and this is one step towards that goal. It is also possible to optimize the energy consumption through peak shaving using the battery. And of course, we will get a lot of interesting data from the EMS who Reem told you about. And of course, the safety is also prioritized for us, which make this battery a good choice for us.
And for Bright, of course, we're more than happy to learn from this project, which is experience installing this battery for the first time. I know it's my first installation, hopefully not the last. And most important is to put the battery inside a building, prove that this is actually possible. It goes from being a theory into a fact. So now you can actually say that it's installed inside. And everything with research we're doing with NTNU, it would give us quite a lot of interesting data, both from the flexibility market research and, of course, the consumption that this building and our batteries additions to kind of adjusting or load shifting some of its use. And yeah, so we're kind of quite excited. I know there are plenty more that is positive and we can benefit of, but these are the most important ones for us. Next for Bright is actually a project that we're going to start in the fall, which is a battery installation at a high school in Shetland. It's an agri-tech kind of school, so and they're investing a lot in solar panels. So now Bright is going to come in and kind of utilize that by adding a battery. So we can't wait, so stay tuned for the next big thing. Lastly, we would like to thank everyone who came here today. I'd like to thank my tech team in the back there. You did a lot of good job. I cannot have done it without you. Paul, who's sitting right there, the lead in Vaktmester gang. I've been calling him nonstop, day in, day out, so I can't thank you enough for your help and access to this building.
And I would like to thank everyone involved from Kjelsberg and KEF. Yeah.
And of course, thank you. And thank Kjelsberg for everything. And yeah, that's us.
And thank you, ladies. It's a lot of good teamwork. Now, to finally make this milestone official, I'm proud to present member of the Standing Committee on energy and the environment, Mani Husani.
All right, dear guests, it is a tremendous honor for me to be part of the opening of Norway's first flow battery installation here in Norway's capital of technology, Trondheim. Here we are witnessing an extraordinary collaboration between entrepreneurs and a coffee and real estate company, which together are introducing new technology to Norway. What is happening here may be the norm in Norway in just a few years. In Norway, we have seen hydropower as our biggest battery. But with greater scarcity of energy and a need for electrification of the society, this type of groundbreaking technology is essential in order to have sufficient power and meet our climate commitments. In addition, flow batteries contribute to less need for the development of the power grid and lines. And as a politician, I know all about the resistance grid development can create. And when I mean resistance, I don't mean electrical resistance. Construction and buildings accounts for around 40% of greenhouse gas emission in the world. The figures on a Norwegian basis are of course smaller, but more people must do like Kjelsberg here at Lager 11 and invest in the production and storage in self-produced power. Only in this way can we achieve the goal of a low emission society. And from a macro perspective, it must be said that Norway has very good conditions for taking large market shares of a market which is growing and will still increase in the years to come. It will be able to provide great value creation and green industrial growth throughout the country. Batteries, and not least of the technology we are unveiling here, are fundamental to the green transition we are going through. But there is also production that uses a lot of natural resources and requires a high level of expertise. Norway has the expertise. Just look at Bright batteries, which are made just a few kilometers from here. We also have the natural resources and the infrastructure. The big job will be to get private investors and the policy apparatus to work together to speed up profitable projects. And ladies and gentlemen, the kickoff starts here today. The government of Norway will concretely contribute to provide capital, loans and guarantees, which in turn trigger private capital. We will contribute with plots of land and other central infrastructures. In addition, we must ensure that Norway enters into industrial partnerships with the EU and other actors to ensure market access for Norwegian-produced batteries. A big thank you to Bright Batteries and Kjelsberg for having the courage to be the first and thus being pioneers in Norway. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there remains the great joy and honor for me officially declaring the first flow battery installation in Norway to be open.
Thank you all for joining me here for Norway's first flow battery installation. The way a flow battery works is that instead of the energy being stored in solid materials, those materials are dissolved in liquids, which are stored in two tanks down here. One for the positive side, one for the negative. To be able to extract or store energy, that liquid is pumped through the cell stack, which is the big component here in the middle, where the electricity goes through. Having the energy stored in liquid does make the battery a little heavier or bigger than other conventional batteries, but on the plus side, you'll get 20 to 30 year lifespan, it's completely recyclable, and it's fireproof. If you want to learn more about flow battery, join me downstairs for the demonstration.
And that was Bestoludi, one of the co-founders of Bright Batteries. And after you get the possibility to actually see the battery, not only on screen, but in real life. Next. One small battery at Sluppen, one giant leap for energy solutions everywhere. To show us how this battery is part of a much bigger picture, we have project leader of Positive City Exchange, Bjørn Ove Bertelsen.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations to Bright, to Kjelsberg, and this extremely interesting and very, very good project here at Sluppen, and a very, very interesting collaboration. And also thanks for the invitation, thanks for the opportunity to come here. The clicker, or can you just maybe help me, or I can, okay. I represent the Positive City Exchange project, which I'm going to not dive into, but tell a few things about. But I also here today represent my employer, Trondheim Kommune, Trondheim Municipality, and our CEO, Morten Volden, talked with him this morning, so he also sent his warm congratulations to you and to the project here. This is one of many things happening in Trondheim, but extremely important things and action. In Trondheim, as we see it now, sailing up also as the energy capital of Norway. Today I will pinpoint just a few important topics and findings from our project and our collaboration here with this variety of partners. We as a project Positive City Exchange having Sluppen as our absolutely most important demonstration area and playground. One back, please. Our future energy measures, they will be on the system level. System and area level. The future will be a series of coordinated, interconnected, and fully integrated measures. Taking solar PV as an example, right? Solar PV is not especially flexible in terms of, let's say, renewable type of production. But as part of a local system working together with other resources, not the least, then we need battery storage, right? We need battery storage for that. Then we say that also solar PV will be a flexible resource as part of a local flexible energy system. That is how we see it, that we need to work. We have to work interconnected, we have to work integrated, and we have to use the sources and the assets available. Then making local flexible systems like Sluppen already is and will become more in the future, right? And solar PV, battery storage, all those, let's say, important assets in the ingredients. The more we use of them, the more we need to think about how sustainable are they? How sustainable are these solutions? But you know, we can't just take or make into use any resource without thinking about circularity and sustainability. And this particular battery project is, as we see it, also extremely important, because this is how we need to work and think in the future. We cannot just cover, let's say, the whole Sluppen with PV, with battery storages all around the city without thinking that, hey, we need to have them produced and made in a sustainable way. And the bright battery solution is absolutely an extremely good example of that, as we see. Next, please. This is just an overview. I will not go into any detail of the ingredients as we see it in our Sluppen case. All these, let's say, actions are or will be fully integrated and work efficiently together within very shortly, and we're going to demonstrate this here at Sluppen. It's a huge series of measures, but this is how we see important parts of the energy future. And all those constituents and or ingredients also are part of a local energy and flexibility market, which will make more efficient use of these local assets, local resources, into this local market developed and being operated by one of also our core partners on NEO. I think that, but you know, also having a series of integrated measures, then you also need a pretty complex setup of actors. As we see it, there are no more single interventions, they are integrated and there are many. That's more challenging, because then you need more actors, right? So this is part of also of our actor map here, with R. Kjelsberg and Kjelsberg at the forefront. When we're going to do this around the city and in Norway, real estate developers and real estate companies are at the core as partners and enablers of doing this. This is extremely important. And we are very happy that we have R. Kjelsberg as a partner, because they are a success factor and they will be anywhere real estate developers in order to, let's say, to have this green energy shift that we want and that we see that we need. Yeah, I think we can do just one thing. But you know, when we do this, now we're setting up projects that are early phase. At some stage, we need to have this as more operational and everyday part of our development, also of cities, right? But then we need to talk about the finance part and the economy. There will be more actors to share the risk in such projects, but there are also more actors that need to share a possible revenue, right? And that is a challenging also part of this that we need to develop. This is very premature in Norway. We know that this is very premature in Europe and globally as well. So let's say finance risk-sharing models, risk-sharing, revenue shares, revenue development is extremely important. So we also need to work more on developing investment models and business models in order for this to happen. In order for us to scale, this is crucial, right? And the next one. So since this also is a battery day, right? Battery storage. this is a few results and outcomes of very, very recent analysis performed within the Positive City Exchange on, let's say, a value proposition for battery storage. Taking a 200 kilowatt battery as an example, and seeing how is it possible, what opportunities do we have if we then go back to the single asset, because this is also what we have to do. We have to look into the opportunities, also the financial and revenue potential and opportunities on this. So what our people have been developing lately is to look at what if we go to, let's say, to watch or to look at a specific battery-centric investment and business model. Is it possible also to save money or to create revenues? And we say, yes, it is. And this example is for, you can see at the top, based on 4 use cases we have been working on so far, we see that the revenue potential is almost 10% of the total investment cost of this battery. 10%. That is interesting, right? And it's very important because this will significantly influence the simple payback time for the battery and increase the return on investment. These are investment-intensive assets and interventions. So we have to look at this and see what are the opportunities. And if I go into that, let's say 10% of the total investment as a revenue, reduced cost from grid tariff and sales of system services, that is sales to the system operator, right? What we also call the DSO. That makes up 85% of this total revenue. And important to say that although we are performing demonstrations at Sluppen, which is basically according to energy legislation in Norway, is not allowed. We have got a special dispensation or an acceptance for a solution. But even within prevailing legislation in Norway, this is possible. It's possible to save money on grid tariffs and sales of system services, and this is important. Even if we are able to exploit or to utilize, let's say, 50% or half of the total, let's say, value creation potential, even then, it's possible, as we see it, to create revenue at approximately 70 euros per kilowatt hours of battery storage. Then, I hope also you agree with me that, hey, this makes it more interesting. And these are the ones, this is very, very early. All Europe, we think also globally, these are only the early days in terms of exploring and exploiting the value creation potential, because we need to get there. This needs to be cost efficient, and it needs to create value for the different actors. So I hope that this is also something that, also on a day like this, which is a great day, also can contribute with some perspectives and some aspects, but also, let's say, call for work on what we have to do. Warm congratulations with the launch and today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all who has been on stage, and thank you everyone. So we're actually a bit ahead of schedule. And again, we're always a bit ahead. So next on program is lunch and viewings of the battery. Woo! So when Lager 11 isn't a battery launch event space, it's a culture and street food space. There's 8 international food stands here. 2 of them will soon open, and then you can order lunch either directly from the stand or by the QR codes on your tables. So delicious Vietnamese food from Bui Bui and amazing Middle Eastern food from Mat from Midtøsten will soon be available at 11 at least. And then there's the viewings of the battery. Groups of 15 will be able to be guided down to the battery through that door that says black box. So the first group is already set, but then it's just to stand in line and be ready for your group, basically. Every 5 minutes, a group of 15 will be guided down to the battery, where people from Bright will meet you and talk about the battery, so you can see it with your very own eyes. And then there's still some coffee and pastry, I think. So just mingle, eat great street food, and see the battery. Thank you. Kan alle som har vært på scenen komme opp? I will be back up here with more information later about the rest of the program. There will be a Sluppen tour, there will be a roundtable discussion.